everyone else was on the other stream.
My dad just tried calling me. He's probably like, "What happened to the live stream?"
I know, because there was like 5 people waiting, and I canceled it because it wouldn't allow me to go back and edit it, so well,
Yeah,
oops.
that's okay.
Just allow people to
Funnel in.
come in. Yeah. Wasn't like completely.
Yeah, everybody is messaging me saying, "I am refreshing. Video has been removed."
Okay. Nature infused Ash here, awakening humanity alongside Bigfoot. Today we have Zach, who came out with me over the past 4 days to have a
Oh,
live interaction.
I backed out to try to reply to the people, and I didn't hear anything you just said in the last like 30 seconds. So
Okay. Experiencing nature. Good day. Hello, hello. So I was saying that this is Zach, and he's the expeditioner that came out with me. Again, this week was supposed to be myself, and that's Tucker. So you guys will see him in the video that launches tomorrow. But anyways, as I was supposed to have an expedition with Leslie from Texas, that kind of fell through just because the universe needed other things to happen. So lo and behold, the universe allowed Zach to come into that place, and um, I can say for myself is that was just an incredibly mind blowing experience. And Zach, how was it for you? Was it what you were expecting?
yeah, I was expecting. I knew that I was going out with you, and I don't know. I always find stuff myself, and I know that you do too. And I kind of felt like it was just going to be one of those trips where we just find a lot of stuff. But it honestly, I think we found more than what I thought. I think we experienced more than what I thought too. That was
Absolutely.
going to happen.
Right? Yeah, like I didn't even expect the first day we got out there. We went ice bathing, and then I'm like, yeah, I want to go up there. And Zach's like, yeah, I do too. And, we went up there and up to this place we've both been attracted to going, and found a softball in the middle of the wilderness, right? Like, tell
Yeah, I
me
don't
who
know how that
finds.
works, finding a softball in the middle of the mountains, but
No, no. Julie, hello. Yeah, it literally bumped me out while I was waiting. Hi, Ash. Hi, Kirsty. Nice to see you here. Welcome. Yeah, because I had to cancel that live stream because I couldn't get Zach in. So sorry about that mishap. Anyways,
yeah, there's a bunch of people right now messaging me saying that the link is not working, the one I sent. So now I don't know, they're all confused. They'll join in, they'll figure it out.
hello, Kayla. So Kayla's here due to Zach. So welcome, Kayla. Nice to see you. I guess you and a friend met Kayla out in the wilderness
Yeah,
in October.
me and Dylan, we met she's part of the Alberta Sasquatch organization.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Or
so we ran into them.
cool.
Yeah.
Hello, Maynard. Nice to see you. Boom. Sasquatch Confessions. Welcome. Sasquatch in the house. Yeah. Anywho, so I guess to our adventure. So we got out there Thursday morning by
Yeah.
noon. And that's when it all just started to, I guess, unfold. So, hello, Ash from New Mexico. Welcome, James, all the way from New Mexico. It all started pretty much as soon as, well, they knew we were coming, didn't they? Put my
Yeah.
intention out there, and I'm sure, Zach, you put your intention
Yeah.
out.
I was asking all week. For about a week. I was nonstop thinking about it. Almost an unhealthy addiction.
Yeah. Well, and then now it's like, okay, yeah, I want to go back out there now. So, I mean, oh, mosquitoes. S- so we camped by the river because I kept hearing a calling that I need to camp by the river. And it's been coming in since, I don't know, September, October of last year. And having the freedom to be able to just explore the area in the way that I got to explore it was just a game changer in itself. So the first night we were by the river, but we were even, oh, I guess we even had the knock then too, right? So we were going through the forest, just discovering what was in and around the camp. We chose to situate in, and uh, found some breaks, some fresher breaks, and we were walking back to the camp where the vehicles were, and we were discussing. And all of a sudden, Zach turns to me and he's like, "Oh, that's confirmation." And then all of a sudden, you hear this knock, knock, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, are you kidding me?" So Sasquatch, kind of confirmed Zach's confirmation just on that whole level. So
Yeah, that was funny.
it was. And then once we walked back down the trail, there was a complete fresh tree break, like as if it was done while we were, and maybe that was what the knock was, or whatever we heard for the confirmation. It could have been that. That's how fresh it looked to be. So we camped there that night. Um, we are talking about some stuff, and Tucker, all of a sudden, I felt something, and I thought, and I felt this stuff when I've been out with Leslie before. One sec. Sasquatch confessions. Do you remember how many knocks in a row, or was it one? I think it was knock, knock.
Yeah, it was about 2,
Yeah.
2 that time.
Yeah, that time. And I find that it's like a confirmation. Like, yes, you're
Yeah,
talking, you're in alignment with what you guys are talking about, right?
yeah, we're
Confirmation.
talking about confirmation, and as soon as we said the word, literally, like, what, 5 seconds later, bang, bang. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Or it was just mind blowing. So I mean, and then going out with someone like Zach, that's kind of like in the same frequency, and all of that is just, it makes for that much more of an experience, you guys. Like, holy. So hello, Chris and Linda. Who dat? Usually three, at least the ones here in Idaho. See, I've never had the three. Usually for where we are, it's either one or two. I haven't gotten the three. So again, it's all going to be.
Well, the one night right when I went to bed, I'd heard it. I swear it was almost like 4 to 6. It was weird. I've never heard that many in a row, and that kept me up for a while.
Mhm.
So that was strange,
So
but I've never heard that.
and that was in a row that you heard it.
Yeah, yeah. Right before, like, right as soon as I put my head down, and I was just about to fall asleep in the tent, and then bang, bang.
That's just a realization. Um, but yeah, anyways, back to the first night, and I was sitting, and Zach was going to show me a picture of something, and so he was searching it, and all of a sudden I felt something, and Tucker, the dog, this dog's mind blowing. You guys never met a dog. He's not a dog, right, Zach? He's not a dog,
He's not much of a dog, no.
and you could tell. So this is what I love about bringing animals that are trained in this, because they can sense different energy, and when Sabe is around, they tend to, I don't know, it's like they quiet themselves, and depending on how Sabe is coming to interact with them, they might just silence them by hitting them with what you guys call as infrasound. I would just say a frequency. But he was looking, and you could tell obviously there was something there just by the way Tucker was acting. Now, again, I'm sure Zach can confirm that if there's a predator around and he goes and sniffs and there's something there, what would he do, Zach, for the most part, if there's a predator?
Well, typically my dog will bark
Hmm.
once or twice if there's a predator, and he'll just give you a heads up.
Yeah,
That's basically what I've trained him to do.
yeah.
So, but
And I
besides that, how many times did you hear my dog bark when we were out there?
only twice, and that's when we had that weird
Yeah.
stuff
When
happen.
something was, yeah, and I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah,
So
like a very well trained dog.
yeah, and I mean, again, you guys, he's not a dog. Like, I don't know, if you follow me on Instagram, you would see Tucker in the stories. Everyone just, he's a great companion to have out there. Zach's done a good job training him for sure. Um,
What about dog? We try not to discuss dog man at all while out there.
yeah,
It's just one of those things we don't talk about. Not
right.
worth it.
And why do we not talk about that?
It brings that sort of energy, and that your intention out there is everything. Everything. Like, I mean, if you go out there with the intention to shoot a Sasquatch, you're not going to see a Sasquatch. Period. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
Same thing goes with dogmen and everything like that. I don't want to attract anything like that. Period.
no. And Maynard, how you say more knocks is mean agitation. See, and that's what I agree. The more they're getting repetitive. They are agitated. And that's why with my interactions that I've seen, I've never seen anything past two. It's like knock or it's knock knock. And even with like whoops and stuff, like when they're agitated, they'll let you know. And I'm on the same uh, wavelength as Maynard, saying knocks mean agitation. The more, yeah, super interesting. Yeah. So, anywho, the guess so that was day one, which was the Thursday. Um,
We did.
Friday.
I can't
Yeah.
believe how much stuff actually happened Thursday, though. When I look back at it, it's nutty for their arrival day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Every
It's
single
a
day was.
it was, yeah, it was a rival day, and that's where, when we went to the place where I've always wanted to go, like, Sasquatch has always called me to come to this certain location, and Zach's like, "Oh, yeah, me too," and we both get to finally go and do that. It was the energy was lit. You could tell that there was fresh tree breaks, there were structures, there was pyramids. You'll see in the video, like, this pyramid I'll point out, and it's like it's a triangle. I'm like, "This is kind of like when I meditated under the structure in October." And the energy was the same. I said, Zach, like I said, this is the same energy. It was like Sabe was teaching me the full circle of what energy that I felt in October. Because going out there, I was, I had no idea. It's been my first time all year, and just everything that has gone on has given, it kind of was hard for me to get back out there. But now when you have, someone that is as high in frequency and is aligning with the same stuff, wants to explore the same and say, Zach can feel the energy, see the energy. And I've never met, I haven't yet met a person that comes out there and goes, oh, wow, yeah, I can see it and feel it the same way. So it leaves that doors wide open for so much more exploration. Like it's just
And I've
incredible.
never met, but likewise, I never met somebody that does the same thing as me.
Mhm. Right.
So it
And
was
that,
very interesting.
yeah,
And I
because
can't forget the impressed circles too, up on
yeah,
top of there.
right.
We found big circles, like big pressed. They almost
Indented.
look like indented, like disc shaped,
Yeah.
indented, like almost like I don't know, 3 to 5 feet wide, somewhere in there. We didn't have a tape measure at that time, but yeah,
Yeah.
that was strange to see.
Right. So, and the energy tell you guys is the same energy that happened in October when said person and I were under the structure. So it was amazing to be able to receive that energy, for them to show up that way, and to know that we're on the right learning path or evolution. I don't know how I want to say that or describe that, but it was just impressive. We found a really big, it was very interesting. Anyways,
We
William,
started to find so many tracks. I
oh,
honestly,
yeah,
I looked at you and what did I say? I'm not here for all these tracks. I want an interaction. And
right.
like we could have looked at tracks all day. We could have had like hundreds of photos probably of different
Yeah.
tracks because we were finding so many breaks, and when you find the breaks, you can find the tracks.
Hmm.
So
Exactly. And then even following where, Sabe has been in the bush, like if as if they were running through the bush, like it's their energy, their essence that they've left behind. I just want to say, William Pritchard, hi Ash. I never see you live. Well, welcome. It's nice for you to join us. This is so incredible that you are talking of fresh breaks. Fresh breaks are starting here too. Well, congratulations. It's always nice to find the fresh and new, right? To me, I find, when we find fresh is that we're evolving. They're teaching us, and we're listening to what they're trying to teach us, or maybe not even teach, but can you listen? What did I say to you the other day? I said knowledge is power, but as long as you're not hitting like the wall. You said something perfect. I can't remember what it is.
I
Anyway,
can't remember now either. We've had so many discussions since.
okay.
It's
Come,
crazy.
yeah,
And what was I just about to say? Somebody said something about on here. I was gonna read.
Maynard.
Um, oh yeah, Manor. We had the exact same thing happen to us, and that was actually when my dog barked. We were out. What I'd say we hiked out like probably we weren't keeping track, 2 to 4 kilometers probably from our site, right? And we came up. We ran into a creek, and
Well,
I
we have to
basically
start.
looked at Ashley.
Mhm.
Do you want to go up the creek or down the creek? Do you want to explain it from there?
Yeah, just one sec. I just want to read Kim's safe exploration, a loving energy that is shared, learning together. Absolutely, right? My dog would always stop in the teepee structures and look straight up. I never tried it though. My dog would always stop in the teepee structures. Interesting. See,
Oh,
I've sat in the middle of the teepee structures, but and
that's
I
what I
tell
was
you,
thinking.
Tucker found some stuff, you guys. Like you'll see in the
Yeah.
video, this is Tucker. He found the X. There was teepees. And so I wanna go talk about leading up to what you Zach was just
Okay.
touching base on.
Okay.
Um, what
But
would you
yeah, we
say?
were finding the tracks, right? And then Tucker started smelling the tracks, and then Tucker just started finding the tracks. We
Yeah,
didn't even have to
in
find
the
them. He's
structure.
like, "Oh, I'll use my
This is what
sniffer."
Yeah, this is what you guys are doing. Here, look what I found. It's like, yeah, okay. So what happened was so that what well, see, now we have to go back. So now we're on sorry guys, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay, sorry.
Um, Friday would have been the top of the mountains. The top of a mountain is where we went. Not the one that I was planning, but we know if we plan, it doesn't always work out that way. So Zach was, always wanted to go to the top of this mountain, so we did it, and um, it was interesting. That's where I heard a bunch of gibberish, as if there was people having conversations, and I was walking down the mountain, gibberish, and then I stepped, and then I was gone. So that was my experience, and then the other one was watching Zach touch these 2 trees, and I thought, "Interesting, I should do that," but I never did. Whoops, next time. But what did you gain from that experience, Zach? Like, what led you to doing that?
Well, we got up to basically the peak of the mountain that we were on, and right before we actually were sitting there for a while and actually started heading down, but these 2 trees that were just like identical in size, and I just decided to I literally hiked up that mountain barefoot, but I grabbed onto both of them and I just decided to kind of meditate there for a minute. And within seconds, my hands started to feel this electromagnetic, how can I put it, field coming off of them from the trees, and that was very interesting. I was so surprised by that, my train of thought just like kinda just stopped, and then I opened my eyes, and here's Ashley heading down the hill. So, I was like, "Oh, I gotta catch up with her now," and then I told her to try it, and then she did. And
Mhm.
what did you get from it?
It was like confirmation. There was a full circle of what I've had been learning, but I guess the more real powerful was that next day when I did it and Sasquatch was actually running in and around the area that you're talking about with Tucker finding the structures and stuff. So when I did it there, I felt supported, balanced, like, oh, and like I mean like I grew taller is how I felt. Like, okay, I'm not, 5'7". I'm feeling like a bigger energy, a bigger presence is how I felt when I grabbed those 2 trees. And, my hands were heating up. My left one was just on fire. Like not on fire, but like the energy was just I don't know how you would call that. Like it
It's hard
just
to describe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was powerful. So to me, when I was doing that, the Sasquatch that was playing in the bush while we were doing this was like, see, you do this, it will create balance within yourself where I'm able to present. And do you feel that? I'm like, oh yeah, I could feel strong. I don't know why. Like this is a weird experience because I'm sitting here and I'm going, yeah, I could feel like I could actually have you physically come and appear, right? And he's like, yeah. So, when we interact, and again, there's two visions that come in. I don't know if they're just prepping me in a certain way, but I just felt like, yep, I can handle it. I know Zach has my back. I know, feeling what I was feeling through the trees and then having him click around. It's like he was clicking is the best way I'll describe the sound. What did it sound like to you when we were there doing that?
Wait, when we were coming down the mountain?
No,
Or the next day?
yeah, when we were in the next day when we were holding the trees.
Oh, I was just sensing a lot of stuff around us. I was just absorbing it all. It was weird. I almost felt like I was out of body in a sense. Like I the energy is so high out there. It I kind of wish I took more footage, more photos, everything like that, but it's I'm not out there for that. I'm out there to have an interaction and to communicate with these beings. And
Mhm.
when I was holding those trees, I mean, you just feel a whole nother sense of balance, oneness with the nature. You can until it's so hard to describe. How do you really describe something that is a feeling that isn't felt by many? I mean, it's difficult to describe the sensation and but to hear things that we were hearing were all around us and it's it was crazy. It was a crazy experience. I don't know how to put it besides that is every day, every minute we were out there, there was something happening while we were out there. It was strange, very
Mhm.
strange.
Mhm. So I'm just gonna catch up on these. So Julie, how would you feel seeing one? Well, I mean, I'm working up. I oh whatever. Zach could see how. Okay, like I still gotta let go of that fear. I mean, and then not knowing exactly it's my first time out there with Zach. I was comfortable in the daylight. When it comes to nighttime, it's another. You're presented with another fear factor. So whatever.
Yeah, it gets dark out there.
Yeah.
But I will have to say, fear limits your boundaries. And
Mhm.
what did you get when you went up to the top of that mountain? What happened to your fear?
It went away because I had so much clarity on where we were. I had the blueprint of the land and I knew that we were on an island. I'm like, wow, I cannot get lost. And when I experienced that, that fear was gone. So a lot of what happened while we were out there for myself was being able to have the space held where I was able to actually release a lot of fear around the land, not knowing it exactly, and just certain things. It was just, to be able to go in the bush and I never had a fear that, oh, something might, like, there was no, it was just a spectacular feeling. I didn't feel like I was being constricted or closed down. I was so expansive. And learning that the land was the way it was just confirmation when we were hiking through the bush that, oh, if we go there, we go there. If we go up here, we go, and I knew. So it definitely got rid of the fear, which gave me more confidence in everything that we were doing, for sure. So embrace
Well,
the journey. Yeah.
when we were going out there, one of the things I noticed coming off of you is you were scared of what kind of space do you call it? Lim,
Subliminal.
yeah,
No, it's liminal. Liminal space is what I was
liminal
calling
space.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
she always says that, and I'm just I always forget what it says. But anyways, she was scared about that, and when we went up
Mhm.
that mountain and we came back down, and I think the fact that she was with me kind of changed her opinion on how scared she actually was about that. Um, but we experienced that, but we'll get to that. That was strange. That was
Yeah.
really strange. Um, and th- man, it's just like I'm trying to keep on track with what's there's so much stuff, and you probably have it like categorized day by day by day. And I wasn't categorizing it day by day. I was just absorbing it all. So I'm kind of trying to keep on track.
Yeah. So, I'll just go through a couple of questions. We'll get back on track. So, embrace the journey. Did Sasquatch make a physical appearance while you were there? What would you say? I, s- I mean, yeah,
Well,
they were there
I
physically, but other than that,
I we heard them physically, but the thing is, what got me was when they started making tinging noises, like metal tinging in the bush,
like dog
and
tags.
and I did catch out of my peripherals when I went to my tent to grab something. I did see green eye shine, and it was like I don't know, probably 75 feet, 100 feet away, and as soon as I went to look, gone. It was yeah, but like there were so many other nutty things that happened. I don't whatever. But the prince, oh, We found prints the next day right where we thought the eye shine
Yeah.
was.
I said, "Zach, does this look like where it could have
And
been?" 'Cause I'm, like,
and
looking at where Zach was, and I'm like, "Whoa, this is exactly where he would have
yeah.
been."
And
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 then
then
it's
my hair
different.
just stood up on end.
Yeah.
My hair stood up on end because I knew at that point when went in that track, I was like, "They were watching us from right here. They
I
could
know.
see us perfectly
Yeah.
from right here."
Yeah. They were
Yeah.
close, you guys, like, I would say, like, maybe within the 5 to 10 feet. I don't do yards. I've never learnt
Tucker.
yards, so
Tucker, come
sorry
here.
about that.
Come here.
So,
Come here.
William, um, Tucker is my late father-in-law's name. I don't believe in coincidences. Neither do I. And Tucker, Tucker, he's not a dog. He might look like one. He's not.
Let's see. There he
Okay.
is.
You guys are at this sweet spot where it appears that there is shared learning. Sabe is learning from you, or as much as you
Come
are
here,
learning from.
buddy.
They're
Oh,
very interested in really knowing you. Yes. So in Maine, bear dog regulations changed drastically. Theory is because of Sasquatch, including no dogs allowed in many areas. Interesting. Maynard, wow, mind blowing. Okay, okay, yeah. Transcendent. Sure, I don't know what percent. Okay, now I'm feeling like I'm way behind in questions. Dog sense.
today. Hey, buddy. Oh,
Yeah, Tugger is a big boy, especially when he has his hair.
he is a standard poodle. Yeah, and he is a stud. He is used for me and my family, we breed Bernie Doodles and Golden Doodles. So he's a studly dude. Yeah.
All right, so what so I guess, like, what day we were on Friday. So I guess Saturday, we'll go into Saturday, which we transferred camps. I guess what that would have been Friday night after the mountain.
Yeah.
And well, obviously, due to the fact that Sasquatch kind of guided us to this other area, and we call it base camp number one, which is a pretty spectacular site. And that's where we had a lot of the interactions and a lot of, even in the forest, a lot of the tree breaks and structures. So when we first got there that night, the energy was lit. I could feel Sasquatch energy, and being able to go and explore that was fun. And we kind of did a little touch around base camp, and then Zach said, "Oh, we should wait till tomorrow and we'll go explore the rest." So I thought, yes, that'll be so fun to be able to go out and explore. So that night, or no, did we have anything that night? I don't think so. I might have heard a
Which
call
night?
way down in the distance Friday night.
No, we didn't get much on Friday night. No. Well,
Um,
I got some knocks. I thought I got some knocks that night
when
on
we went
Friday.
to,
Yeah. And then I
uh,
forgot of all the stuff you can forget on the ground outside. I went out. I went to my tent. I thought I had everything, and I'm like, I got in my sleeping bag, and I'm ready to fall asleep. And then I was like, oh, my cell phone. I don't remember having it, and I don't remember bringing it in. So I unzipped my tent, and here it was, right by the fire, just facing flat down on the ground. And then what was the other funny thing? There was a funny thing that happened with my music player while we were out there, Ash. Wasn't that funny? You remember
yeah,
that?
I kept repeating a certain
I
song.
put it on shuffle, and no matter what song I picked, the next song would go to a song called Ash. No matter
Yeah,
what song I played. Yeah, and I thought that was pretty hilarious. But
yeah. Read between the lines. So again, I mean, we can't indulge in everything, but I mean, it's just due to the fact that what else we're learning. It's not just about, there's a lot of other things that we're discovering out there. It's quantum. So, like I said, nature is quantum. And I guess goes to show when we did the forest trip, so it would have been Saturday, where we're holding on to the trees and we found the structures. You guys will see that in the video where I introduced Tucker, and we finally got to the road and we got to this creek, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is the creek I've always wanted to hike." Now, Zach turns to me, like, after we've, like, cleanse ourselves in the creek and really like energetically recharge. Um, Zach's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh, I want to go up." He's like, "Oh, are you sure?" And I always going because one thing I was able to do was really hear the guidance and my intuition and spirit point us in certain directions. I'm like, "Ah, yeah, let's go down to see where this comes out at." So go ahead, you tell a story about us going down the creek.
So we're going down this creek, and I don't know, we get about from the road, what, probably 10 to 15 minutes down. We're hiking down in there, and we're kind of jumping the creek back and forth to try to get down there. It's kind of a rat's nest in a sense. And we get to this one area down low, and we see this outcropping of trees that were all the same, and it was is weird. It's like this patch of trees that were all the same, and nothing else was in this patch of trees. But at the same time as this happened, I looked at Ashley, and she just came to a dead halt, and I had a sense of stop, turn around, and I looked at Ash, and I said, "What did I say to you, Ash?"
You said,
"We're dead."
well, because you said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I don't know. I just all of a sudden just feel very off." And all I
Yeah.
kept on hearing was road, road, road. And then Zach's like, "Okay, let's go to the road." Then what
No,
happens?
well, I Tucker, my this boy here, he typically will not leave like 10 to 20 feet from me when we're out in the bush. Okay, he just won't. And
And
when
sorry to interrupt, but when he goes, it all of a sudden went dead silence, you guys.
silent, yeah.
Like it was silent, silent. And then what?
Well, and then I got nervous. I had this sense of just I looked around, Tucker's gone, and I start hollering for Tucker.
You
Where is
can't hear
Tucker?
anything. Yeah.
And he wasn't replying, he wasn't coming, and then out of nowhere, we hear, "Woof." He woofs as loud as he could, and he comes bolting at us, and at that point, we knew we had to get out of there, and then we got up to the road, and as we were going down the road, we were being, uh, stalked,
Right
followed.
now, but when we got to the top where the road was, Tucker turned around and he looked up to the tree that I was just walking by. Like he looked up and he barked up into
Yeah,
the tree. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And your heart's pounding because it's like, okay, what is it? A predator? It's what's going through your head.
yeah, yeah, but, yeah, no, that was interesting. It was funny to see that we just both halted at the same time.
Hmm.
And but I at the same time, I wanna go back to that exact same spot. Like, I feel the need that I have to go back there and investigate it, but I
Well,
guess
see,
that
and
day it
whatever
just
that
wasn't.
was stalking us as we were walking down the road. And see, now this is my experience. It's the same experience when we were down and I was holding the trees. I can hear like this tick tick. And I don't want to talk about like this, but to me, because people were bringing up Goat Man, I was like, "Oh my god, it's kinda like that click, click," as you're and I'm like, "What's going click, click in the bush? A predator doesn't go click, click." I mean, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, if a predator goes click, click in the bush, but this is what I am hearing. And, like, it's a faint click, click, but I thought, "Oh," I said, "Are you sure that's, not a Sasquatch, Zach?" He's like, "I don't know. All I know is it's stalking us." And so that was interesting. And then that night, because we left Sunday? Yeah. Did we? Yes, we left
Yeah,
Sunday. So that
it was
night is when
Saturday night.
we're surrounding the campsite. So,
And that was Saturday night was I definitely the most that was a crazy night. That was a crazy night.
right.
It started to rain a little bit, and that's why if people are wondering why I put Tucker in the truck, it's because, well, he's a poodle and he soaks up water like a mop. So if it starts to rain, I don't want him all soaked and cold, and so I put him in the truck. And when I put him in the truck, that's when we started to hear the dog tag tinging tags. Is almost like something was mimicking Tucker's tag,
Yeah, and I
which was
said, "Are you I said, "Are you sure Tucker's not wearing him?" Bare teeth click click. Oh, really? Interesting. Sorry. Just reading Maynard's comment.
Tucker just gave me an annoyed growl right now. He's annoyed with me.
But that night, yeah, for sure was, and it happened twice and it was right there, like right on the other side of, so you got like your firelight that goes into to the bush. It's like right there, right where you can't see. They're just
Is
right on that other side.
right on the cusp of where the fire illuminates. That's exactly where they were. Exactly. And, like, when we went around the camp the when we went around the camp the next day, next morning, we seen all the impressions of their feet. No, nothing defined,
Mhm.
but definitely imprints, like that. So that was strange to see, and the imprints were right where you could definitely, like, be peeking right through the woods, right at our camp where we were sitting.
Yeah. And I mean, just the feelings that were being brought up, you knew, well, and even when Tucker came back out and the way, because Zach may have had um, a boomstick, we'll call it. And, I thought, interesting, Tucker is not being allowed up. He's only, because, like, you could tell that, Sabe was using their infrasound to get to Tucker. So he would stay quiet and docile and sit there on the ground. As soon as Zach went and put it back on the truck, he got up. And I was like, very interesting.
Oh, you booms just say it, my 12 gauge, my gun, okay? Uh, but anyways, that yeah, as soon as I put my, when Saturday night when it started to get busy, it was as soon as I put my gun down, that's when they all came around and got close, close.
Mhm.
Oh, we forgot about talking about what happened prior to that night, about when we decided to
Oh,
just take a little hike from our camp to the one area that we haven't been,
yeah.
right? So, do you want me to describe it or you want to?
Oh, no, go ahead. I kind of knew what was happening. So it's always nice to hear someone else's perspective.
All right. Well, there was one direction and it was pretty easy to keep your bearings out there, just so you know, because the river, you can hear the river. Okay. So you know constantly which direction is which. And we go out hiking in this one direction for like, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, about that. And we're just looking around in the one direction that we haven't looked yet. And we're like, you know what, it's starting to get dark. Let's head back. And instead of heading straight back towards the camp, we actually cut across almost to, so I wish I could have a like a drawing for this, how it, because it doesn't do you any justice unless you can see it on a drawing, to be honest. But anyways, we went in this weird direction that was, I thought we were going to come at the camp very easily and whatever. Anyways, we go up this one hill, and as soon as we go up this one hill, I just said to Ashley, I said, something changed. Something shifted. I don't know what, but yeah, I feel an energetic shift. And she gets up the hill. She said, "Yeah, me too." And then we walk across the hill for like what? It wasn't even very far.
No, it's like we
No.
walked up, went around a couple trees, and went back down. And I'm like, Zach, why are we going back? I said, okay, this is weird. We went up and now we're coming right back
Yeah.
down.
And then I swear we're walking for like 30 seconds, and I'm out of nowhere. I stop and I'm like, I've been here before. And then I walk up another hill, and boom, we're on the other side of the campsite, on the other side of the road, and like 20 minutes from where we were. And I was like,
Like,
what
in an
the
instant.
just happened? I was completely, my mind was like, I didn't know how to describe it besides that. Like, I don't know if we lost 20 minutes or if we just went from point A to point B or what transpired there, but it was
It's
really strange.
quantum. It's quantum jumping, right? So we went from point A and ended up. So it's called liminal space. Again, you guys have heard me talk about this when I was on expedition with Leslie. Except it wasn't so as intense because I've been there. I know the land now, which was, yeah, see, quantum jumping. Exactly. And I was like, yes. And see, now the thing is what I have learned from this and watching Zach and knowing now for the second time that I've done this. And again, people have taught me, Ashley, when this happens, stay physical. And this is how you stay physical. So when we were being chased or stalked by whatever that was going tap, tap, click, click, when we were up on the road was, and I feel where Tucker all of a sudden went missing and it was silent, was called like a liminal space. So there's some kind of energetic, like a portal. And then it can take some getting used to, absolutely, especially if you don't know the land exactly. But all I know is this is what I feel and see and hear when I energetically check in is physical roads are made by humans. So they have a certain frequency, more density to them. So where did we want to go? We wanted to go back to the road. Now when we were coming back down the hill where we did the quantum jumping, the liminal space, I saw this path and I'm like, well, that's weird. Why is this path here? It's very unusual, but it's very physical. And like it was like I said, okay. Zach's like, oh, you want to go that way? And I'm like, nah, it's okay. We can do that next time. And then I heard Spirit say, Ashley, you're not listening. You actually wanted to go that way. And I said, oh, okay, sorry, next time. And then all of a sudden that's where we quantum jumped to the other side of the camp. And I thought, very interesting. So again, you guys, so that physical road to me is a physical, and then where we kept going down, we went into the liminal space, we went into the quantum. We quantum jumped, we went through the liminal space and ended up somewhere else. Now, when I look back and reflect back to last July with Leslie, when they dropped me from my experience and dropped me through time and space, and I felt like I had to come back and get all my pieces, where'd they drop me? Right on the physical pathway of the gifting.
I interrupted Ashley in her mid sentence, and I was just like, I think the apples are transporting. I don't think they're being taken. I think, based on what just happened, I think they're actually going from point A to point B in space and time or something of that nature. Because the videos that have been taken of these apples basically show them just go poof, they
Yep.
just gone,
Disappear.
you know? And
Yep.
that would be a logical explanation for me. Because how would you
At his house. And it went from missing to ending up on a tree outside. Okay, well, I mean, we could go down so many different holes with that, but I thought interesting. So I thought Sabe, because what they could do is reach into our dimension and grab that and then put it on the tree. And there's just other things. But now when you look back at putting the apples, but how are they disappearing? Like even if they reached in and grabbed this ball and dropped it out in the middle of the wilderness, like how did that end up there? Now, when you're stabbing like, it has to be stabbed, is what we're,
thinking?
yeah, exactly. For it to become in coherence with that tree, now it's in resonate, it's resonating at the tree's frequency, and all of a sudden, after a few hours, 12 hours, it finally just poop disappears. Food for thought, you know?
Oh yeah, no, we definitely seen animal. There's animals that take apples for sure, as someone is saying. Yeah,
Oh,
no, I completely agree. But there's footage, literal footage where you don't see that happening. You
yeah.
just don't see it happening.
But what I noticed in this film, and I've questioned multiple times because I love to question, was there was kind of like a dust, but to me, I call it like an energy that kind of swooshes in, and then the animal, the apple's just gone. It's gone. Nothing.
Yeah,
You don't see anything taking it.
yeah.
I just want to touch on some questions or comments. William, jumping is weird. I was charged by an entity during midday in tall grass. I could see something walk quickly to me in the tall grass. I yelled at it and it stopped. Yeah, that's kind of. Julie, oh, my daughter sees paths in nature and our pets no longer with us. Past paths left in our home. Yeah. I had an incredible healing event through quantum jumping. Amazing experience. Cool, Kim. It is pretty amazing, isn't it?
And what else?
Experience experiencing nature. Well, I mean, it definitely helps you get rid of some blocks that, can be there. A few different animals and birds will take apples. Yeah, but you can kind of tell, like we've seen apples that have had like pecks in them from squirrels and or birds. Usually if a bear climbs up a tree, you can see the scratch marks. Um, Trail cams sometimes not trigger on small animals and birds because they are small at fast. Yeah, but we've never trail cammed apples on trees. But no, that was in the middle of the night. So the video he's talking about is Les Stroud's Bigfoot. I think it's the one when he goes to the top of the mountain uh with Todd. It's like episode 2 or 3, I don't know, I don't remember. But that's the where you can see the apple all of a sudden disappear, but you can see the energy of something. You just see things disappear with a little wisp. Yeah, exactly. Little wisp. I agree.
Wisp. When it started to rain on Saturday night, we started to have lights popping up in the trees, and that honestly was like a shock and awe moment for me. Like, it was like a magical moment, honestly. It was just like we're sitting there and I look over and I see this light in the tree. I'm going, "Ashley, look at that." And then she looks, and then out of nowhere, more of them start popping up everywhere, and we're watching these lights popping up in the trees, like, I don't know, we seen at least, what, half a dozen to a dozen?
Oh
But yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
but
Um,
that was very crazy, and when I actually went to go investigate it, because I was like, "You know what?" After, like, looking and watching it, I was just like, "I gotta go see, like, what's going on," and as soon as I went in to look, they all just kinda dissipated as soon as I went to go look.
mhm. So I mean, kind of like I call them like light beings because they're not orbs. Like an orb, like when Zach was telling me about his experience, and it was like this big ball of light. I'm like, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Be so cool for me to see something like that because I don't normally see orbs.
Yeah, I had an orb experience last fall. I was out camping by myself with Tucker, and it it looked like a spotlight coming down through the bush towards my campsite. And it gets right to the edge of my campsite, and I was meditating for about 2 to 3 hours, asking for an experience that was soft, slow, and gentle. That was I said, "I don't wanna be fearful, I don't wanna be scared because I'm out there by myself with my dog." And
Mhm.
anyways, this light comes through the bush, and it's like a spotlight shining straight down, and as soon as I'm like it gets to the edge of my camp, and here I actually thought it was a camper walking towards my fire, like some guy showing up at like 10 o'clock at night at my campsite. And as soon as I said, "Hey, hello," the light just stopped. And then I was like, "Okay." And Tucker's looking, I'm looking at it. And then I decide to turn my headlamp on. And at this time, I'm thinking it was a human, right? And as soon as I turn my headlamp on, poof, gone. Nothing there. And then I make a video of what I just seen. I was making a recording of it, and here's this orb behind me, like right over here. And it like your camera can't even pick up stars when you're out there. And so there's no lights out there. And it was just the strangest thing. It was really cool. It was really cool to have that. I was kind of creeped out, but not really creeped out, actually. I was more excited about what happened that
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, see, I think I'd be super excited for something like that. That'd be cool just to get used to. But Kayla says the coolest thing that happened to her was last August with several orbs on the ground level and then shot up into the trees and danced around. It was wild. And then
Yep,
Chris, um, your
that's my
last name.
dad, Chris.
I remember that, Zach. And hey,
Yeah.
Zach, you called us. We are here.
Well, I don't know who you are. I called quite a few people about this
Oh
live
no,
stream. So.
that's Kim China Productions. She's talking about the light orbs.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. I was like, did I physically call Gina? I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, the big track. We haven't talked about that.
Oh,
So
I know there's so much, you guys.
we came upon a lot of tracks, but this one particular track, we went back to and looked at it, and went back to and looked at it, and went back to and looked at it, because we were just in amazement to how large it
Mhm.
was. And if it was a Sasquatch, it is one mighty big Sasquatch.
Okay, well, if it's not a Sasquatch, it's a giant.
It's a giant. It has to be a giant, one or the other. And
Yeah.
the print that we seen that we took photos of was the most defined print, but we actually found the trackway where it was deeply impressed, like, I don't know what, 10 feet away. Like, the strides of this thing was massive, and we could actually find the impressions of the track behind it and after it.
Mhm.
It was something. I was like, "I have to go get my measuring tape from the truck because I gotta see if this adds up." And the
Yeah.
ratio to the size, 24 inches long by 11 inches wide.
Mhm.
The boom print that I am aware of is that's casted and everything is what 19 inches long by 9 inches wide,
Yeah.
which in comparison, that's pretty relatable in ratio wise, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can see the mid-tarsal joint as what you guys
Yeah.
call yeah, it was just incredible. And it's so surreal because, like, honestly, like, it's I know the boom print that I've seen out there, it's like it's massive. Like, that thing goes, "Oh my gosh." But now it's like
This print's different. And
yeah.
and then to add to a little bit of a creepy factor to it, not too far from it, we found the bones of a freshly eaten elk
Mhm.
or moose, one of the 2, but, there's still blood on it. So, maybe a bear did it, but it was like, "Oh, okay. Well, something had a snack here."
Right? So experiencing nature. I know of one guy who said he saw a bright light appear in the woods near him at night. And he said he saw a partially materialized Sasquatch step out of that light. Interesting. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people say that they use them to transport. So
I
I
don't know how they do it, but
yeah,
I certainly wanna learn. That's that's
right.
that's one of the reasons why I'm out there is I wanna learn from these beings.
Yeah, and I mean that's what we're doing. Like it's like how much we've learned, and then to come back into reality and have someone to go back and forth with in what you've discovered is just you guys. It's mind blowing in itself. So much more growth on that level to achieve. So much more success. Personally for myself, and I'm sure for Zach as well. And then like one of you said, there. We learn from them, they learn from us, and it's just play ball.
But
Kim, you
but,
might have maybe docs on that
Maynard
exploration.
I would have to say, Maynard, that unless you go out there and you see the tracks for yourself, the mid-tarsal joint is so easy to see. It's it's there. So you can be against it, but I'm telling you what, when you're actually finding the tracks, and I've seen many, many tracks, it's there. It's there. Like they definitely have a joint in their foot that it's not like they can grab something wholeheartedly like a hand can, but they do have a flexible joint in their foot. That's pretty noticeable in their tracks.
And Kirsty, yeah, I know. Imagine running into that being of the owner of that print. Yeah, I had a vision actually when we were talking about giants and stuff like that. I thought, wow, very interesting. It was an interesting vision.
Yeah,
Um,
and then
I
Ashley fits in P5 full thumb. Ugh.
yeah, and then I mean, I've seen the mid tarsal, but all I need to know is I can see it energetically, and then see like I don't have to. I know what I know. And even if it didn't have whatever, it was just that print, you can see the whole freaking it looks like a print or a
Yeah,
track, whatever you guys track print.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Zach Orb, I could see that. Yeah. Zach Orb, I could see that. I don't know what you guys are
Oh,
talking
you're saying if I was an orb? Yeah, I'll come visit you, China.
about.
When I learn, I'll come visit you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else that we're missing? I don't think so.
Probably,
Yeah,
probably.
so much. There's
Um,
so much.
but it was just we didn't really touch base on that baseball all that much, but that was strange. That was strange finding that baseball in the middle of the woods. It Ashley was like, "Is this Twilight where the vampires are out here hitting the ball miles away?" Because it didn't make sense that that baseball or softball, sorry, was
Yeah,
way up there in the middle
yeah.
of the woods. Like, just didn't make much sense.
No, it didn't. Like, nope. They just wanted to play with us and did a lot of that. And I, Zach took me down a road supposedly I've never been down, but he's been down. And we come to this creek and it was amazing because I'm all about the water. So next time, if we're ever out there, we're going to go and explore that again. And then again, to me, what did I want to ask about your guys' opinions on mountains being pyramids and um going underground? There's a lot of things that Zach and I have noticed, even pointing going down hollow ground. And again, that's where like
Oh,
quantum.
yeah. Hollow
Mhm.
ground, I forgot about that. We forgot about talking about that. We found a place in the woods where we I don't even know how we just came to it and why we even knocked on the ground. Why, like, why? Why did we even knock on the ground there? I don't even know.
Neither do I.
I
Because
can't even recall why.
we were following something. Like
Was
definitely
it
we were
Tucker?
maybe. I don't know. All of a sudden we just started knocking on the ground and it was like hollow. Very interesting because I've been through liminal space and I've had someone else go, "Doesn't this ground seem hollow to you?" Why would it be hollow, guys? Chambers to what? Water is like a channel. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, knock on it. Dong, dong, dong. Yeah, just like, okay. Out in the bush, the hollow ground right below me. That's nice to know.
Well, that was some big sinkhole. I guess it does happen. So, okay, can't wait. That would be great. If we could all meet as our orb selves, actually, we likely could. Yes, exactly. We could all just, and Kim, just head out to Radium area and we'll all meet there. Getting there, I mean, Zach's on his way. Kim has experienced it. Leslie, whoever else has experienced quantum jumping. We're getting so close to, well, and what's happening to our DNA and all of that, right? As
Oh,
the,
we didn't talk about that, about the sun. We thought we were gonna mention that a little bit. Um, so when we got there, it was like, what, 16, 17 degrees, right?
yeah.
I wouldn't even say it was that sunny. It was sunny, but it wasn't that sunny. And I got one hell of a burn from being outside just for a couple hours. And for
Mhm,
me, that was strange because I got really good skin where like I just don't burn. It was strange.
mhm.
So like last year when I was out there, it was like in the 30s, and I was out there all day for 9 days, and I never burned. And here I go out there, and it's 17 degrees out, and I get a burn within an hour or two. That
Yeah.
just seemed very strange to me that that happened.
Yeah. Well, and I know a lot of other people I've talked to around this, the sun just seems to be extremely different.
Yeah.
Not as, I mean, I would say like it's not even as warm as it should be. Guys, like I don't know. But Christy, yes, I was told to start looking down. So uh that's why we were guided to go down. And Zach's even going, "Oh, I can see this to be pointing down." Things have been going and pointing down, and wherever that is, like there's so many theories we could touch on and what, theorize or guess or
Yeah.
whatever. But now going out there with this knowledge and discovering, and it's not just looking up, it's looking down. And like Zach said, I'll look up, you look down, look all around, right? Because then you're getting like all angles, because it's as you're going through and feeling, you got that feeling, but then it's like you want to make sure you're paying attention to up and you're paying attention to down. So it's interesting to have someone go, "You take up and I'll look down." It's like, okay, now you don't have to, go back and forth. And we found that tree growing out of another tree
That was
where like
strange.
all this portal stuff, I swear you guys, it was a powerful, energetic
There was this tree that
going.
was growing literally like linear.
You
It came
the
out
video.
and it was like this, and then it went straight that way, and it then intertwined into a bunch of trees. But and then that's okay, whatever. But coming off of this tree that's like a foot off the ground, growing linearly, there's this other tree stump coming straight out of it that's like huge, going
Yeah.
straight up halfway through. It's like
And
it wasn't even a branch. It was like a trunk coming out of the side of a tree. It was strange.
yeah. And this tree that was growing out of the other tree was like a full grown adult tree. Like it
Yeah,
was huge and he was healthy as could be.
yeah.
Strangest thing, like that is like nature is unbelievable. But there was a lot of tree breaks in there. There was a structure. You did meditate in that area. Did see a lot of tree breaks, structures.
I just wanted interaction, and I feel like the most amount of interaction that we had was on Saturday night. That like for sure Saturday night we had the most. And then did you I believe you said earlier this week that you actually caught the knocks on audio, right? So we did catch some knocks on audio when we were sleeping.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's not. It's like to me, it's like oh, because I've caught knocks before, and I appreciate everything. Again, it's not like I'm coming. I love everything I get, everything I receive. I'm never gonna go. Oh well, I went without an experience. Being out in nature is an experience. I do, would really like them to come and ceremony around the fire. That'd be cool, preferably in the dusk. But anywho, it'll get to that point.
Yeah, I'm going out again at the end of the month, and I'm hoping that I get a lot of evidence this time around too. And I think Ashley's going out too. Not sure. Nothing's confirmed quite yet with her,
Yes,
but
I am. I'm 100% going out. I just don't know when I'm leaving. So, what was the location in reference to radium? Um, Kim,
I don't think that
it's where you guys were. It's, because there's the mountain. I don't know if you guys went over, like, it's that whole general area. So, you have never actually been. So, anyone that's ever been out with myself or other was never to this area. I mean, it's in the same neck of the woods.
region or
Yeah,
yeah.
but not in like everything that Zach and I have discovered is brand new territory that has not been documented
Oh,
or touched.
that's what we didn't bring up. The bark that was peeled
Mhm.
upwards, and we found this happen what near our site, and then also when we were up at the top of that mountain, remember?
Yeah. It was
And
you
it
guys
was
will
strange.
yeah, you guys will see it in the video. Would love to hear your feedback because it's like something peeled it, but now the branches are there. And if you're sitting there like as this deer is gonna walk up to me. No, you stay right there.
Like it could be a porcupine, don't get me wrong, but I mean, if the porcupine would be facing straight down and peeling the wood upwards towards himself, it just was weird to see the wood being peeled upwards and then all the limbs, all the twigs, all the branches, everything untouched.
Yeah.
Just the bark was like peeled upwards. It was weird. Like typically something scratches downwards, right?
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
or like if they're rubbing with their antlers, it's going to break the branches or the twigs and this and that. So I don't know, it was strange to see. I don't know how to really take that. So I'd like people's opinions to,
Hmm.
if somebody has experience with that, I'd like to know what that is caused from.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can think like I don't know. Like porcupines, I can't see them doing that. And just the way that it's been left on the branches. And when you touch it, you guys, like I've never touched like I don't know, it was just like I was touching flesh. It was quite interesting. Was it oak? No, it was
No.
spruce. It was a Douglas fir.
One was Douglas fir. I think one was
No,
a
it's a
poplar
pine.
though. Pine?
Pine.
Actually I didn't even look that hard. I guess like I'll have to look at the
It
look
was
at the footage.
yeah, it was a pine. Um there's not a lot of poplar out there. Poplars have the leaves.
Oh, the voices. You didn't mention that really too much about the oh, you did though earlier on.
The
But
chattering.
yeah, we were coming down the mountain, and I don't know where she just stopped and she was just like, I swear I just walked through a field that there were like somebody was talking or chattering, but it just sounded like all gibberish, right?
Mhm.
I thought that
Mhm.
was interesting.
Yeah. And it's like if I wouldn't have taken that one step, I would have been able to hear what they were saying, but it's like I walked through this band of frequency that was like just gibberish. Like people were talking and it was like, wow. Like I've never experienced that either. So that was very interesting. Very interesting. And I'm just
But I'm just thinking that the next time I go out or you or we go out, I just feel like they got our energy now, and I feel like we're going to have way more success even the next time. Like, and that it's almost weird that saying that because like I almost thought like this was going to be like a one-off where out of nowhere we just find all this evidence, blah blah blah, right? But I think it's just only going to get better from this point forward.
Well,
I do.
absolutely, and now that you're interacting and they know that you're coming out there, because I tell you, like, it just keeps going and going, just the connection with that tribe even, and I know it's over all of it, but it's like there's something there that we have to complete before you go to the next level of somewhere else, but that's how it is for me. Um, but they have yeah, it'll be fun. Anywho, hi, Duggar. So you're such a good boy. Wait until you're all alone and then you hear multiple children laughing and running right around you and you see nothing. Yeah, Maynard.
Uh,
Yeah, I would think I would probably lock myself in my vehicle, may or may not drive away.
oh, we did take Crystal. I took
Oh,
my Crystal
yeah.
singing bowls out there.
Yeah, and maybe that's what helped provide such amazing success. It was
Yeah, the
amazing.
first we I only pulled them out the first night, I think,
Yeah, the
but
first
we were working with them for a good half an hour to an hour. It was pretty interesting working with the singing bowls with a couple, because I've only worked with them by myself. So when you actually have another person that's using a wand on one and they start resonating at the same time, it actually creates quite the tone in the air. Like you feel it.
yeah, it's like a tuning frequency.
Yeah.
We were talking about a lot of that kept coming up too. A lot of things around the baseball and just like the words, the words and can mean a lot, but like it was like even tuning forks. Why'd you? We kept on doing something. You're like, oh, it's just a tuning fork. It's just like a tuning fork. It's like, yep. Kayla says, well, it is natural, but more than natural. You know what I mean? Yeah, natural phenomenon. It's been picking up for me. Yeah, see,
Oh,
cool.
what did she? I didn't read.
Not a joke, dead
If
serious.
you're
No, Maynard, that is doesn't sound like a joke. It does. Yeah, I wouldn't want to experience that. Because I would probably run into my vehicle and drive away. And Zach could probably confirm that.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, she would.
I
Yeah.
would not want to hear something like that. If it's not, no, like, no, that would be very weird to hear
Yeah,
children laughing and running around.
absolutely
Because
can get
we
food
might
pretty
have been
easy.
talking me like, no thanks. No thanks. Anywho, Um, I want to say thank you, Zach, for joining us and for that amazing experience out there, and just so much appreciation for you being out there and able to help awaken humanity and be on the same frequency. It's amazing. And I want to thank you all for the support that you guys provide and feedback and all of that. Love the interactions, not unless they are Sabe kiddos. Yeah, that's true. But anywho, so the video will go out tomorrow, and hopefully, my Wi-Fi is not good for uploading stuff. It really is just not very good, but it'll make it up there sometime tomorrow. And what else? Any last words, Zach?
Well, I think that, the next video is going to be even better, and I think that we're gonna have even greater success this year. I think this year is a big, big year for discovery and enlightenment amongst people.
Mhm.
Um, I think that this is much bigger than Bigfoot or Sasquatch, and that, it's about waking up humanity, in a sense, to what the truth actually is in this world.
Yeah,
And, that's I want some truth. I'm tired of all these lies and deception that the world is playing on everyone, and I think everybody else is kinda sick of them too. So, it's time to light everything up. It's time to light
yes.
everything up.
Let's go, guys. Okay, well, boom. Thank you, Sabe. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Zach. Until next time,
Thanks,
we
Ash.
will. Yeah, you're welcome. We'll see you guys later. Many blessings. Take care.
Have a good night, everyone.